Today we're making a beet hummus recipe that is energizing, healthy, and delicious. I'll show you how to make homemade hummus using chickpeas cooked from scratch or using canned garbanzo beans. I'll also be sharing some of my favorite creative ways to serve hummus, including some ways you probably haven't thought of yet. This video was sponsored by Multo by CookingPal, but more on that later. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Clean Eating Kitchen. I'm Carrie and I have a master's degree in public health with a specialty in nutrition. I have a history of autoimmune disease and PCOS, so I try to share recipes and tips for other women dealing with chronic illness. If this sounds like something you're interested in, please subscribe so you don't miss a video. Today we're making homemade hummus and we're going to include roasted beets. The beets add a beautiful color, nutrition, and flavor. And if you don't like beets, don't worry, you can just leave them out. I'm also going to show you how to cook chickpeas from scratch, or you can just use a can of chickpeas. I also have a few secrets that I'm going to share in this video, including how to make your beans easier to digest, and then some creative ways to serve your hummus. I'll be using my Multo all-in-one cooking appliance, but I'll also share how to make this recipe using the stovetop and the food processor. To get started with this recipe, we have to prep our beans for cooking. Or feel free to skip this step and use canned chickpeas instead. You'll need to rinse and drain them before blending them. And just to rule out any confusion, chickpeas and garbanzo beans are the same thing. I will use the words interchangeably, so I thought I would mention that in case you're wondering which is which. To cook beans from scratch, it's best to soak them overnight. This will greatly cut down on the time needed to cook the beans later. As you can see, I just placed them in a large bowl with water and let them sit on the countertop overnight. Be sure to leave a lot of room for the chickpeas because they'll soak up most of the water and grow in size. You can put the bowl on a plate to catch any water that leaks out over the top. And fun fact, soaking your dried beans and rinsing them before cooking them will help remove some of the sugars which can cause gas and bloating from eating cooked beans. It's a secret tip that you're sure to thank me for later. I also want to share some quick health benefits that can come from eating beans and hummus. First, chickpeas have been studied for their ability to help our intestinal microbiome due to the type of fiber they contain, and I will link that study in the description. There are also health benefits to eating hummus too. Some of the benefits include better weight management, reduced inflammation, and heart health. So you can feel good about serving this delicious dish to your family. Once the beans have soaked overnight, you'll want to rinse and drain them. Now it's time to show you how to use the Multo by CookingPal to cook the soaked and rinsed beans. We'll put them in the mixing bowl along with water and salt. Then we'll use the guided recipe on the Multo to cook the garbanzo beans, which takes about 45 minutes. If you don't have the Multo all-in-one cooking device, then you can do this on the stovetop in a big pot with a lid. When the Multo is done, we just have to drain the beans one more time, reserving some of the liquid. Some of you may know that the liquid that comes from cooked chickpeas is called aquafaba, and it has some properties similar to that of egg whites. And we do want to reserve a little bit of this liquid because we'll use it in the hummus later. These beans are now cooked and ready to be blended into our beet hummus recipe. But there's just one more step that you can take to make the cooked chickpeas more digestible. This is my secret that I wanted to share with you, and that is to remove the skins from the beans. It's not a necessary step, but it can be helpful for those of us who have sensitive digestive systems. It also helps create an ultra smooth and silky texture to the hummus. Finally, after all that prep, it's time to make our roasted beet hummus recipe. And I'm going to be using the Smart Kitchen Hub that comes with the Multo to help guide me through this recipe. If you don't have this device, then you can use a food processor. First, we're going to add the garlic to the mixing bowl. Next, we're going to add our chickpeas and the beets. Now you can roast these beets yourself. I actually just bought a package of roasted beets from the grocery store. So the next step is to blend up the chickpeas and the beets. And then we're just going to add the rest of the ingredients, including the lemon juice, the tahini, the salt and pepper. And don't skip the salt in this recipe. It really helps add flavor to the hummus. And I'm going to add just a touch of the cooking liquid and maybe a little bit of olive oil to help create a really creamy texture to the hummus. And now we just have to blend it one more time until we get the right texture that we're looking for. Now you might be wondering what to eat with beet hummus or how to serve it. Here are some ideas. You can get creative with your veggies. Try cherry tomatoes, cucumber, celery, avocado, sliced sweet peppers, zucchini, snap peas, broccoli, and cauliflower. You can make dairy-free quesadillas using hummus. Fill a tortilla halfway with hummus, fold it over, brush the outside with olive oil, and saute for a few minutes. The hummus creates a creamy texture that actually replaces cheese, which is great for those of us on a dairy-free diet. Try making a dessert hummus. Just use garbanzo beans, tahini or peanut butter, and add cocoa powder and maple syrup. Serve it with sliced strawberries for a healthy dip. Or try tossing your cooked hummus with cooked pasta. It creates a creamy texture but without any cream. This is a great option for plant-based or dairy-free diets. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make cooked chickpeas from scratch and then our homemade beet hummus. If you're interested in learning more about Multo by CookingPal, I'll include a link in the description box below. I'll also include a link to the full review that I did on my website, which talks about how I'm using this device to save time in my healthy kitchen. And you can use the code CLEANEATING for $80 off your purchase. If you want to see another video with how I'm using my Multo, I'll include that one right here. See you next time.